On Monday, June 16th, the national average of a regular gallon of gas in the United States hit $5 a gallon for the first time ever here. This latest record marks the 15th day in a row that the national gas average has hit a record price, as gas prices have continued to rise for the last 8 weeks. A gallon price average of $6 a gallon is not so unlikely if we continue this trend. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Politics. This is where I read 3 current event articles from media sources left, right, and center and get my thoughts on them. This is because people today tend to get their news from one media source. It's pretty annoying, and it makes you look stupid. Today is episode 2, part 2. In part 1, I covered an article from ABC and an article from Fox. Now in part 2, I'll be covering an article from NPR. The title of this article is Biden is under pressure on gas prices, so he's putting pressure on oil companies. How we doing tonight, Miss Mary Louise Kelly? It's good to see you. This article largely echoes a lot of what the ABC article spoke about. Biden's letter, his disappointment that gas companies are making record profits in the midst of this gas price crisis, and his threat that his, to quote, administration is prepared to use all reasonable and appropriate federal government tools and emergency authorities to increase refinery capacity and output in the near term. Though this article states that, in a recent speech, Biden would not outline what those powers were. This article did paint a clearer picture of the reasoning behind this crisis. Because of Russia's invasion in Ukraine, Western countries have sanctioned Moscow and have cut purchases of Russia's energy. Because Russia supplies 10% of the world's oil and is the world's third largest oil supplier behind the United States and Saudi Arabia, this major decrease in global supply because of the war in Ukraine is raising oil prices. On top of the Russian supply issue, as well as inflation, is the fact that during the pandemic, because of the large reduction in energy consumption, oil companies reduced their capacity to refine oil into gasoline to save costs. Circled above is the beginning of COVID, where that oil production went down. Up over here is the millions of barrels per day produced. This reduction is still in effect today, and Biden is urging these oil companies to increase their oil production to meet new demand in the global and domestic market. This reason counteracts Hannity's argument from part 1 that domestic production is down because of policies in place by Biden. He is begging. Not to much avail. In a recent speech, Biden said that, quote, Exxon made more money than God this year. That sounds like a lot of money, but I'd like to see the details of God's most recent contract. Thanks again for listening. Leave your thoughts down below. We're all being affected by these gas prices. Love to read your comments. Love to argue.